What's going on, guys? It's Marcus here with Discover Ignites, where we discover possibilities and ignite change. Now, it has been a minute since I have been on here, but there's a particular video that has been gaining a lot of traction lately, and I just wanted to kind of follow up on that because I've seen a lot of the comments in this particular video, and I know a lot of students are getting discouraged on the tests that they're getting. And for me, I just want to essentially come on here and tell you that it is possible, right? You have to believe in yourself and realize that, you can't let a test, people, opinions define you, right? Now, all my videos, right, they're all just my opinion, my experiences, what I've lived through, and trying to relay that to you guys to hopefully help you guys, live a better life, be more successful in whatever avenue of life that is. And in this particular avenue, right, it was just after my journey to go after something that I really enjoyed. And I felt like the door was shut many times in my life. And going through life, you do change, right? You do change your journey, you pivot. When you experience new things, you end up realizing that, what you once thought was really something that you wanted isn't what you want anymore. And this changes all throughout life. And even like a lot of the people in that video that have been commenting, they are discouraged because of test scores. And I think, nothing against, education and the way it is, but it hasn't been updated, right? I even have young kids, and them and themselves, right, they're starting to teach entrepreneurial skills to second graders, right? And that's something I wish I would have had when I was younger, because it's not updating. It's slowly getting there, but it's a process, right? By the time it actually upgrades to where it probably should be, we're still going to be changing and adapting. And so it's always important just in life to go after those things that you want, right? If something really makes you happy, you need to go after that and do whatever you can to get to where you want to go, right? Now, that's because of the fact that nobody's going to be there to hold your hand along the journey. Like mine has been essentially a lone wolf, right? I've always kind of been a loner throughout my life, but it's because I've found that a lot of people aren't reliable. And as sad as that may sound, it's not that people are always going to be there, right? There are a lot of times when you will feel down, and a lot of times you feel unmotivated. There's a lot of times you'll feel stupid. And this is essentially because you are looking for someone to kind of help guide you, right? Kind of someone to hype you up. And going through those comments, it's like you have to be your biggest cheerleader. You have to be your biggest hype man. And as hard as that can be, that's something you need to practice. It's something I've practiced over the years. I've always pushed myself and try to hype myself up about something in particular I want, because motivation is something that is temporary. And you realize this going through life, that you may go to a seminar, you may read a book, you may find somebody that's kind of hyped you up, been your cheerleader, and you're excited, you're ready, you're motivated, you start doing this thing, and then as soon as that motivation is not there, you stop. And that's the hardest thing, is to keep pushing yourself to go forward, to keep going through the motions. And it's not just about going through the motion, but make sure the quality is there, right, as opposed to the quantity, and trying to get to good dedicated hours onto whatever it is that you're trying to pursue. Now, a lot of that particular video was aimed on going after my programming degree, and that's fine and dandy, right? Like, I've achieved those things, and you can achieve those things, right? Nothing should stop you from trying to achieve those things. But again, I have adapted. I've seen what that realm is about, and I've noticed that I think I was guided more towards something like that only because of my parents, right? My parents were always guiding me, education, and that's where you need to go. And I totally believe in education, but I think you should do it at your pace and find people who have actually worked in those fields. Because a lot of times you go, to higher education and everything, a lot of these people, they haven't actually been in that field. It's all essentially just theory, right? And so you're going off of theory as opposed to actual, putting these things into practice, right? And that's the biggest thing that I've noticed through the educational system, is it's all just book reading, and that doesn't help. You have to be the experience. And I myself, I've found that I have learned the best when I've gone out on my own and I've studied, and I've essentially put it into practice what it is that I'm trying to learn, and then turn around and flip that and try to teach that. And it's a good reason why I started a lot of these videos here, is to try to flip what I was learning and allow myself to, you know, essentially regurgitate what I had learned. And a lot of times it helps. It helps you essentially, you know, capture those thoughts, those ideas, and those skills that you're trying to learn, and solidify them and bring them out when you are essentially relaying that message to somebody else, and you realize you learn a lot better. That's like one of the best ways of learning, as opposed to, you know, cramming everything, hours upon hours of study. You know, all you're doing is just trying to train your memory. And I've noticed, and I've heard from many other people as well, you know, you go and get that degree and you come right back out and you're really like starting from scratch. There's nothing, because everything is so agile and is always changing, and you know, there's so much research out there now about everything just changing, right? What our parents went through, what my parents went through, right? All they did was, you know, you went to college and it was essentially, yes, things adapted and changes, but not at the speeds they are today. Today, everything is so much changing. When you come out of college, everything is just completely different than what you've learned, and you find yourself that you have to play catch up. And life is all about this whole big realm of playing catch up. And so to go after a test score and all that stuff, I mean, education is going to have to change a lot, right? Just the institutes, the way it is now, has to change dramatically. It has to be flexible, and because that's the way it is. That's the way life is now. It's just such a fast pace that you have to know the latest skills, the latest technologies, and just keep pace and constantly learning. And it can seem really overwhelming, to be honest. But the biggest thing is to understand that you can do it, right? Not just have hope. You know, I believe you should always have hope, but there's something even more powerful than having hope. And that is to believe in yourself that you can do these things. And that's all it takes, is to realize that people, you know, they make mistakes. You're not going to just get something out of nothing, right? You're going to learn. It's going to take a while for you to progress. It's just a repetition, and it's just like anything else. And I've talked about this in some of my other videos about, you know, it's like going to the gym. You know, after a month of doing work, you might see a little bit of progress, but you aren't going to see those great results. And it's like anything, training the mind, training the body, you know, training in a new skill is all the same. It's repetition, repetition. And, you know, they have that theory of 10,000 hours to be a master at something. And just think about that, 10,000 hours, that's a lot of hours. And to just do, you know, probably even 200 of those hours, right? You're gonna have some familiarity with it. You might be better off than you were initially when you started, but it's still gonna be a progressive act, right? You're still gonna have to keep going and progressing and learning as much as you can, and not beat yourself down for not getting it right away. Because this cramming, like, and studying and everything, yes, that's great, but as soon as that test is done, you know, it's like our brain just dumps all that information, and it is no use to us anymore, and it just doesn't help anymore. And then you're just right back on the same track. As soon as you learn the next thing, you brain dump everything else to essentially try to use that space for something new coming in. And so don't beat yourself up. It's essentially a new world, right? And what we're living in right now, like, everybody's is figuring this out and having to switch gears quick and realize, hey, I need to pick up a new skill. I need to be quick. And this is the way life will. You're gonna realize that you're gonna make mistakes, and that is perfectly okay. We're all human. Don't beat yourself up for it, just move on. Just, what can I take from that last mistake that I made, and how can I apply it to the next, you know, endeavor I'm going to go down, and not make that same mistake again, right? That's ultimately what we're trying to do. And so take everything with a grain of salt, right? Take everybody's opinion on YouTube, on the internet, with a grain of salt. Take my opinion with a grain of salt. Just do the best you can. Keep going. And ultimately, it's just about trying to make progress every single day, right? And that's ultimately what's going to help you. If you can make progress every single day, you'll realize that those repetitions throughout time will be like, you know, climbing Mount Everest, essentially, right? To get to the top, you gotta take one step at a time to get there. It's the same thing every single day. You gotta take that repetition to be able to make that journey, that end journey, to make that end goal, because right now it seems like a mountain, right? But ultimately, you will get there as long as you don't give up, because it's when you give up is when you ultimately fail. But it's when you not give up and you continue to realize that this is your vision, this is what you want, and make sure that this is what you want, because if it's not, you will lose focus, you will lose motivation. If that's not something you really want, then you will just say, you know what, it's not for me, I just don't care to do it anymore. And maybe that's the case, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just you feel it's too difficult. And that's where I want you to really look at it and really see what your intentions are, what your motivation is for this thing, and continue to continue to drive yourself towards that thing. If it's something you really want, make sure it's not your parents or your friends, family, whoever. Make sure it's not their goal. Make sure it is your goal. And then just live your life. Be happy. And that's what I have for you guys. And that's what I think we should ultimately do, is just believe in yourself. Be your own hype man and realize that you can make it. Don't let the opinions, don't let the tests, make you feel bad about yourself, because that's not at all what this is about. It's about finding the journey to make you happy, to achieve those things in life that you want to achieve. So remember, if you enjoyed this video, to hit the like button, and remember to share this with someone else who might be going through something really hard right now and may need this video. Remember to share it with those people. And until next time, I will see you guys later.